So one of the things I might want to do is deploy this application at some point to some hosting service, whether it's AWS, whether it's Heroku, whether it's DigitalOcean. And I've got a couple of problems in terms of doing that. One of them being is that my port here is fixed. And when you deploy, very often you're not in control of this port, but you will have a port that will be assigned to you and you could find out that port. So for instance, with Heroku, what they'll do is that they will assign a port. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do process environment port or 3000. And let's just take a look and see how we could end up leveraging that. Even if we just even go over to our command line, everything's going to work the same at this point. But if I wanted to, I could actually set a port variable here by putting in port 3001 and then running nodemon server.js. And what I would find now is that instead of listening on port 3000, I'm listening on port 3001. So environment variables are just that. They're variables that can be set based upon what environment you're in, whether you're working locally, whether you have an environment for staging, whether you have an environment for production. Again, it allows you to configure running your app really in these different environments. So this is one thing that we'd want to do here that's going to make this deployable. The second thing that we want to do is that instead of fixing this database string, this is going to be fine if we're running locally, but we might want to do the same thing here. To go over here and put in, and I'm specifically going to put in database URL, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Again, this is not going to have any impact on us. And again, the same thing if I, ran my application by putting database URL in on the command line, I could do that as well. Again, this is not going to end up breaking anything here. Again, I'll go back to nodemon server.js. But what's going to happen here when we end up deploying it is that we're going to have to configure a database to run when we end up deploying it. So all that we did here is that instead of hard coding our database and hard coding our port, we're giving the ability to set these things with environment variables.